everyone, my name is Dr. Ray Pastor, and today I'm going to talk about choosing your major, coming to college, why you're really there. So one of the things I do during advising, and now I mostly advise graduate students, so I don't advise the undergrads quite a bit, but one of the things I would encounter quite often is students would come into my office, and sometimes these would be seniors, and I would ask them, so what are you going to do when you leave here? And a lot of students had an answer and a response, but there were some, and it was a largish percentage, that would say, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, or I don't really know what I want to do. And I would ask them, next thing I would say, well, why are you here? And they'd say to get a degree, and I'd say, for what? What are you doing? I would look at their major and look at them and say, well, what is your real goals? So I gave these students some advice, and the first thing I would do, especially when they were a junior or senior, I would ask them, I would say, if you could have your dream job in the world, what would it be? And depending on what they say, I would help them kind of tailor, well, okay, so we kind of know what you're interested in. Let's take it. Let's take this degree and let's take what you want to do and figure out how to get you to those next levels. But it's not always that easy. Undergrads come in and they have no idea what they want to do. Undergrads switch their majors all the time. Students come in, they think they want to do one thing, they decide they want to do something else. And that's actually a great thing. You know why? Because you start something and you realize, hey, I didn't like this. That's the great thing about college, is you can try a whole bunch of different classes. So my first advice to you, new incoming freshmen, take a bunch of classes in a bunch of different majors. Kind of figure out what you like and what you fit in. Don't try to do something that someone else, that you might feel pressure to do, or you might think this is the right choice, when deep inside you want to do something else. If you want to be a teacher, please go into teaching. If you love science, please go into biology or chemistry. Depending on, just feel what you want to do. Definitely do not pick something because of money, because you don't want to not enjoy it. You can make a lot of money doing anything you really want to do. You just have to figure out how to do that. Next thing, figure out when you're deciding your major and trying to pick up what you want to do. So my advice is always to have an end job in mind. And then backtrack from there, reverse engineer that job and say, how do I get here? What's my plan in life to kind of get this job? What major would I want to do? But if you can't think that far ahead, take a whole bunch of classes, see what you like. Figure out, go to the professors in those classes and say, well, if I was this major, what kind of jobs could I get? And, even like you can do that to history or philosophy. You can ask them, well, what kind of job can I get with a history degree? And don't think there aren't any, because there are plenty. There's historians, there's professors, there are researchers, and most history majors go into law school. It's a great major it's a great pre-law major. So don't just think like majors like that don't fit in or anything. Go and ask the faculty, what can you do with this? And say, would I really like to do that? I do recommend figuring out what kind of salary they have, even though I say not to worry about money. In some regards you do, because if you're at a college that you're paying $300,000 to get your degree for, and you're going into a job that's going to make $20-some thousand, the return on investment isn't there. So make sure, you really kind of have that, at least it's somewhere in the back of your mind. But I would really recommend sitting with your advisor and coming up with a plan, or your parents or your other mentors that you may have. But you need to choose something. Don't be the senior that comes into my office and says, I don't know what I want to do when I ask you the question. Figure it out. You have so much opportunity in college, but a lot of the students that came into my office and said they didn't know what they wanted to do also didn't take advantage of what their college was offering. They weren't meeting with other faculty and asking them what they could do all the time. Every time you have a class with a faculty, get to know that person. Who are they? What's their background? Maybe they can guide you and push you into something that you never even thought of that you love. Take advantage of that stuff. Colleges have so many unique things, but when a student comes in and it's a senior and they say they don't know, I feel like we failed that person up to this point. And so I really try to work with that person and get them to find a career that they might love. At least get them on a path to somewhere. Sometimes it's that first or second job that shows them what they want to do. But, lead them, through those steps and really help them out. It's one of the reasons I really like internships or apprenticeships as well, especially even at the freshman and sophomore levels in college. I really like to see kids get there. But don't come undecided. Always have some kind of plan in the back of your mind. Even if you're not sure, start out with a major, but, you know, take classes in other programs, learn what's out there, figure out what you really want to do, and hopefully you can find something you enjoy, and it'll lead to a nice happy life that we all dream about.